From 1994 to 2001, Amazon lost money. The company operated for 6 consecutive years without generating a single penny in profit. During the late 1990s, the financial establishment looked at this cash-burning machine and laughed. Pundits actively mocked the operation, branding the company Amazon.bomb as the broader .com bubble began to violently burst. Today, that punchline operates as a trillion-dollar monopoly, dominating global e-commerce. Bleeding cash for over half a decade was entirely intentional. The leadership team systematically absorbed billions of dollars in losses to construct a physical and digital infrastructure large enough to eventually starve out every competitor. The justification for those massive losses came directly from founder Jeff Bezos, who organized the entire company around a single obsession: customer centricity. The mandate was simple: figure out exactly what buyers wanted and build whatever physical and digital pipelines were required to deliver it. To keep the company focused on that goal, Bezos instituted a philosophy he called Day One. He demanded that his massive corporation operate with the exact same desperation, speed, and experimental risk as a brand new startup on its very first day of existence. By forcing a culture of constant urgency, leadership built the psychological foundation necessary to construct the actual mathematical engine that powers their growth. The Amazon flywheel starts with lowering prices, which increases customer traffic. Traffic attracts third-party sellers and new products. This selection improves the customer experience, looping back to attract more traffic. This massive volume creates economies of scale, lowering costs to drop prices even further. The cycle feeds itself. Every single time a new buyer clicks checkout or a new merchant lists a single product, they are physically increasing the speed of the wheel, making the entire ecosystem cheaper and more hostile to outside competitors. Managing a feedback loop with hundreds of millions of variables requires an incredibly sophisticated digital brain. Amazon built a proprietary search tool known as the A9 algorithm to process it all. A9 determines exactly which products appear on page 1. It scrapes historical data to analyze how closely a search matches specific keywords, while simultaneously calculating seller review quality and physical return rates. It also evaluates indirect variables driving sales. A product with faster shipping options and high-resolution images will automatically outrank an identical item with slower delivery and blurry photos. As shown in this model, Amazon maximizes this information using the RACE framework, which stands for Reach, Act, Convert, and Engage. This system merges personal user demographics, like your location and purchase history, with specific product attributes to generate highly targeted, personalized recommendations. The algorithm does not simply wait for you to type in a search bar. It proactively structures the store around your specific habits, creating an environment of extreme convenience that practically guarantees you will buy again. Running this perfectly tuned mathematical loop in the United States is one thing. Exporting it into the chaotic infrastructure of emerging global economies requires tearing the machine apart and rebuilding it. In 2004, Amazon attempted to capture the largest consumer base on Earth by acquiring the Chinese e-commerce site Joyo.com for $75 million. They quickly realized their rigid American system of highway distribution centers and delivery trucks completely failed in densely packed Chinese cities. To achieve the last-mile delivery their flywheel required, they hired massive fleets of local workers on bicycles and scooters to weave through the traffic. But infrastructure was a minor issue compared to the local competition. Jack Ma's Alibaba Group had launched Taobao, a digital marketplace that charged zero commission fees to its sellers, successfully pulling the supply side of the flywheel entirely out of Amazon's reach. Amazon captured just a tiny fraction of the Chinese market before effectively conceding. However, the brutal lessons they absorbed about fractured logistics and alternative payment methods gave them the exact blueprints they needed for their next international target. When Amazon India launched in 2013, the government immediately presented a massive legal hurdle. Strict foreign direct investment laws, or FDI, legally prevented foreign multi-brand retailers from owning and selling their own inventory. To comply with these laws and keep the flywheel turning, Amazon stripped out its direct retail arm. They pivoted the entire operation to function exclusively as a digital marketplace, strictly connecting domestic Indian buyers with local Indian sellers. They also had to fix the checkout process. Because a large portion of the population either lacked credit cards or distrusted digital payments, Amazon implemented a cash-on-delivery system, allowing buyers to hand physical rupees to the delivery driver at their door. Finally, they had to rewrite their routing software to navigate an environment notorious for missing street signs and non-sequential house numbers. They adapted the system to rely heavily on regional PIN codes and physical landmarks just to find their customers. The structural changes made in India prove that the flywheel is not a static list of rules. Its actual strength is its capacity to mutate its operations to survive the physical and legal constraints of any local environment. Which brings us back to Jeff Bezos and the philosophy of Day 1. When asked what Day 2 looks like, Bezos defined it as a state of corporate stasis. He stated that Day 2 is followed by irrelevance, which is followed by an excruciating, painful decline and eventually death. Massive scale and low prices are simply the byproducts of their business model. What actually keeps the flywheel spinning is a deeply embedded structural paranoia that forces the company to relentlessly evolve or die.